So here is Renkum Corsair, aka Kaz. I'm just getting him ready to go down the center line, and this is our first event of 2024. And coming down the center line, really working on being as straight as possible. You can really get some good points with being nice and straight. And coming into our halt. And he can tend to kind of stick his head up and look around. So it's been something I've been trying to work on, keeping his attention, but ultimately keeping the relaxation for him. So across the diagonal into our medium trot, which that felt very good. And then I want to make sure I have the transition back at P. And again, for him, it's been about building up his strength so he doesn't kind of get too low and tip behind the vertical sometimes. And this is our shoulder in. And used to be to the right was pretty difficult for him, but that's getting easier and easier. And then into our haunches in. This has been an exercise that I've been working on a lot to really help him get stronger and more supple, and it's been helping a fair bit. And now shoulder in to the left. This is typically his stronger way. I lost a little bit of the angle there at the end near E. I needed to have a little bit more bend in the rib cage. But then he gives me a really nice haunches in. He's bending around my inside leg. And now preparing for the halt at A, which I was actually quite pleased about. We actually scored a 10 for this movement. He was very good there. And then into the walk. And again, for him, relaxation is kind of the biggest thing. So I can ride him to the movements, and he's gotten much better in his walk. Sometimes he can almost get a little lateral when he gets a little tight, but I'm able to press here for the walk. And this is the extended walk, so they still want to see contact, but they want to see the horse's nose down and out. And then he got a little tight there when I shortened up my rein. So I had a little bit of tension just because he went to anticipate, and I said, no, no. And then he stayed on my aids, so that was a good boy. And then preparing for the canter. And again, that's getting so much more rideable. And then we go into our medium canter down the long side. I just have to watch we come off the track, and my haunches went in a smidge, so always working on that shoulder forward to catch them. And making sure he stays straight. And coming into the canter walk, I want to make sure I have 3 walk steps, and we were bang on 3 walk steps. And again, it's good for him to come and do an intermediate test because there's no flying changes. There's just the simple changes. So it really helps kind of start the season off with a little bit of an easier test. And again, really working on trying to have that relaxation and rideability so then I can ride for the movements instead of kind of trying to protect for the movements per se. So now coming into the second canter walk. He got a little stuck because he almost thought canter halt, but that was okay. And now nearing the end of the test. Again, I can maybe do a smidge more shoulder 4 on that long side. He wants to just push that left hind. Working on the straightness here, into the trot, and coming into our final halt. And I was very pleased with that test. We ended up scoring very well, scoring a 24.4 4, I believe, to put us tied for second. And now moving into show jump. And again, he is doing his first 2 phases in just a D-ring, really soft rubber snaffle, and he seems to really like it. He can be quite a strong horse, so it's always been a process of getting him to really work and be soft. And you see there, I had to kind of say, "Oh, buddy, come on, we got to go." And he's always very game to kind of go on to the fence. And to steady here. Makes a really nice shape. And I felt like he was jumping very well. And I wanted to make sure I got him pretty quiet to that 2 stride, as again, he can have quite a big stride. And we got in a little close, but he just jumps it really good. And then again, I saw a bit of the go, but he was super clever, stayed off the fence. He's a very fun horse in the show jump. He's the type that can give you the confidence to kind of go to those distances. And then when you need a little bit of help, he's there for you. So he did a super show jump round and kept us into second place. Then on to cross country. And he was feeling very keen, very much on the muscle for the cross country. Sometimes he likes to just stick his head down and just motor. It's a feeling of like having a front end loader kind of going downhill. And so I really want to make sure I have him up in the balance, which I don't mind if we're fast. I don't mind if a horse is strong, but they just can't get kind of low and locked, which here I kind of sit up to say, hey, we have some jumps come in. And he is saying, hey, I'm really enjoying galloping, so I'm really going to hold my body here. Jumps that beautifully, and I'm still saying, whoa, trying to use my body. And then he read that corner really well, but again, he was very, very keen on galloping, which is always a good feeling. But again, sometimes fast and strong horses aren't always the fastest on cross country, because you have to take that time to get in the correct balance. And so slowing them down can, again, make you a little bit slower. But I really liked how good he felt. He was jumping nice and straight. He was just being a bit strong, and especially he also knows rocking horses well. So he's being pretty good here coming to this table. And we have a combination that's called a coffin, which is a vertical to a ditch to a vertical. And this was really quite good. And then as soon as we land off of this, he's like, heck yeah. And he started motoring. And so I had to really work on getting him to listen and come back. And I'm trying to use my body. I always like to use my body, voice, and then my hand last. I like to teach my horses that way. He's just a strong, powerful dude. And we had a very good round. We only missed first place by 2 seconds because we were in fact tied. So it was the closest person to optimum time. And so otherwise we finished up second, and I was very pleased with our round.